I'm Sylvain, and you are watching Loud TV. Of course, I think every artist cares about feedback when they are basically working so many years on something to try to put all of their emotions and make it something physical. You know, I think definitely feedback from the audience counts. And yes, I was actually there in the album stream yesterday when Season did their full premiere. And I was there and I was able to chat with some of my fans in the chat on YouTube, and it was really, really cool. People were so kind. They were so kind, they were so positive about the songwriting, the production, the vocals, like it was just so nice. It was really, really cool. An album release is always a bit terrifying, so it's really, really cool to see that it's been welcomed so well so far anyways. The songs were actually half written here in Paris before the pandemic and half written in Oslo during the pandemic. So obviously Paris is not known for its nature, so I can't say that nature was a huge inspiration while I was here. But in Norway, I live right next to like a huge forest, and it's one of the biggest ones that surrounds the city. So it was there, even though it wasn't written in nature. Nature is always something that's with me, it always inspires me. So, but half of it was written in Paris, half of it was written in Norway, half in 2019, half in 2020. You know, I use my project as a musical diary. So it's basically just a statement of what I'm going through, who I am, what I'm living at the moment when I'm creating the record. So even though I'm always seeing images in my mind when creating music, when listening to music, I can't say that it was like as precise as that. It was maybe more abstract, like you said, when I was making it. Absolutely. You're kind of exposing yourself when you release a record. Every time you release a record, you're exposing yourself. I just kind of exposed myself just a little more with this album because the music is really, really personal. It's always personal in SYLVAINE, but this time there's another layer of personal. So I just found that it would be fitting to basically have myself on the cover first and foremost, and the most kind of vulnerable version I could do of myself, which was completely undressed, not be able to hide behind anything, just super vulnerable, super natural, and it just went very well with the emotions behind the record. It made sense. I had this idea very early in the process, and I just knew that I need to do this, even if it also was, of course, like you said, a bit exposing. So. In general, I've become a better singer because during COVID I started teaching vocal lessons. So I've been teaching vocal lessons when I was in Paris on and off for quite a few years. It's nothing new, but I never was teaching online because I always kind of, I don't know, there was just like a reason that I never took the step. But when COVID happened, I thought, okay, now is the moment. People are at home, maybe they want to try something new, maybe they want to try something that's positive to kind of take them away from the fact that this thing is happening in the world. So because of that, I feel like my body and my lungs and everything was kind of already in pretty good shape before I went in the studio. So when I got COVID, it probably wasn't as bad as it would have been a few years earlier when I wasn't as on point with breath and muscles as I'd been because of my lessons. So I think it definitely didn't affect the vocals too much on this record. And because of the last few years with teaching, I had more control, which was very helpful in the situation. I always tell it to my students in the first classes, if you don't know how to breathe, you're not going to be a good singer. It sounds so weird, but it's definitely true. It's one of the like golden, you know, things of singing. If you can't breathe and control the breath, it's going to be hard to sing. So. I had my live drummer, which is here today for our show, Dorian, doing the drums, because I play drums, but I have limitations, and it wouldn't be as good as with someone like him, which is like, he's so incredible at his instrument. So I did everything else myself, the vocals, the guitars, the bass, the synthesizers, all the arrangements, but Dorian did the drums. So we worked on the drums together before the studio, And in the studio, he stayed with us for about a week, and he recorded his parts in just, I think, 1.5 days, but he just stayed there for like support. And then I was there for almost just over 2 months after that, doing everything else myself. I think it's basically a reflection of life. I think our life is built up of contrasts, and that's what makes it difficult sometimes, but also interesting. It's not the same all the time, but we always have these like balancing forces that are working against each other or working with each other. And so for me, it was always very natural to have this in music as well, so to show basically what I feel life has to offer. Up and downs, light and dark, urban, nature, all this kind of stuff. Absolutely, I'm very, very inspired by nature. Nature has always been a place of like safe for me. It's somewhere that I go to feel reconnected to who I truly am. So there's definitely something about Nordic music, though. I feel like there is a nature influence on a lot of people that make music in these regions. Probably because it's such a big part of our life when we're very small. We grow up. Every Sunday you go out for a walk in the forest with your family. It's a thing. We have outdoor schools. So yeah, nature is always present. Between the pandemic and all the kind of almost wars or wars that are happening, it's really easy to feel very crushed by looking at what's going on in the world, and especially this latest story between Russia and Ukraine is it seems so incredibly pointless, and it seems like most people are totally against this. So why is it still happening? It's just the people in power shouldn't be in power. That's the reason. So it's overwhelming to live in this world today, because there's so much happening and there's so much division, there's so much hatred that it's. I don't blame people who want to use art to escape, and that's what I always say at my shows. I hope to take the people away for just a few moments from their life and just to be able to float and enjoy. And hopefully we'll be able to do that tonight too. We played both actually, like a mini tour in both Russia and Ukraine on the same tour in 2017. And both countries were a lovely experience. The people were very warm, they were super welcoming. We loved our show in Kiev. It was a super surprise that it was so many nice, such a big crowd for us. We were still really unknown back then. So it really breaks my heart to see this situation, and it seems just, again, so incredibly pointless. And I don't think there's almost anyone who actually wants this. And yet the people in charge make the people in their own country and neighbor countries suffer. It's just, you can't really describe it with words how it feels. And I can only imagine how it must feel for the people that are actually in these countries at the moment. Same lineup, yeah. I have Florian on guitar, I have Maxime on bass, I have Doyan on drums, and we're going to go to the States for the first time ever, and Canada, of course. And we're so excited. And to be able to tour with AMORPHIS for our very first US tour, we're like, what? It's surreal, but we're extremely excited, we're extremely grateful. We already started preparing some time ago, actually, and April can't come soon enough. We're like, come on, let's go.